Right now, former President Bill Clinton makes a pitch to voters in Wisconsin on behalf of the Harris-Walz ticket. Just 5 days now until the election. And did you get a text from the Dane County Clerk's office? Why this text is legit and how it could actually help. And a closer look at Madison's housing crisis, how the city is trying to ease the burden for residents looking to find a place to live. You're watching News 3 now at 5. It is gray and windy. Halloween across southern Wisconsin. A closer look now as many of you head out with the little ones. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington on the weather patio with our windy first horn forecast, Alex.
Understatement. It is howling. It's a howling Halloween wind out here right now. We said it would be windy. We said it would be gray, and that is verified. Plus, we said we'd get plenty of rain, and we got quite a bit of that as well. Winds have been gusting out here at times easily 30 to 40 miles per hour. A little bit lighter, though, right now. Let's take a look, though, at our temperatures in Madison. We've dipped down now to 46 degrees. Winds out of the west-southwest. That's sustained at 17. Those gusts are way higher. So definitely bundle up. Our temperatures continue to fall through the 40s. The wind will continue as part of our planning your Halloween evening across southern Wisconsin. No rain out there. That's good news. We have had plenty of rain, anywhere between 1 to upwards of 3 or 4. Some places getting 5 and 6 inches of rain last night, and we got more rain in the forecast, and there's some places that could still use it.
All right, Alex, thank you. And we are just days away now before Election Day. The campaign visits are in full effect, especially here in Wisconsin. 42nd President and Bill Clinton made his way to Pennsylvania, Michigan. Now he's in Milwaukee talking to voters, and that's where we find our Merrill Hubbard. How's it looking there, Merrill?
Yeah, Eric, we're supposed to hear Bill Clinton speak here in about an hour, and he's really trying to address faith-based voters and people from diverse communities. Now, I met a community member here with me. Her name is Saquana. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do here in Milwaukee?
Absolutely. So my name is Saquana Taylor. I currently serve as the county supervisor for District 5. As of January, I'll get sworn in for the state representative, District 11. I'm also part of the faith-based community. I am an ordained missionary with the Church of God in Christ. So, yeah.
And then tell me what it's like to be in this space particularly. What does this space mean for people here in Milwaukee?
Right, so IPAMA is newly built. It was built to be an arts and music center for those individuals what we consider in the inner city. A lot of times when there are places for arts or music, it's either downtown or it's further out. So we wanted to get something within the inner city so that those families that are usually looked at as disadvantaged can have a place to call their own and get some of the things that they would get if they lived in the suburbs or if they lived in a rural area as well.
Great. And then really quickly, a couple words, what are you excited to hear Bill Clinton speak about today?
I'm excited to hear him speak about our next president, Kamala Harris, and just his support behind her. Also, him being one of our past presidents and being a man. It's great to see men that are coming out supporting Kamala Harris, knowing that she does have like the tenacity to be our next president. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I'm excited to hear what our past President Clinton has to say, and I'm supporting, and we're going all the way. We're looking for a win.
Saquana, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Coming up tonight at 6, like I said, Bill Clinton is about to speak here in about an hour. So tonight at 6, you can stay tuned for that. But for now, reporting live in Milwaukee, Merrill Hubbard, News 3 Now.
All right, Merrill, thank you. And in response to former President Clinton's visit, the Wisconsin GOP released this statement, quote, in their latest effort to convince voters that decency and character are on the ballot this November, Wisconsin Democrats are turning to Bill Clinton to make their case. Good luck with that, end quote. And after spending a night in Madison, Vice President Kamala Harris spoke to reporters discussing House Speaker Mike Johnson's recent comments that there would be, quote, no Obamacare if former President Trump won Election Day.
And what that would mean for the American people is that insurance companies could go back to a time when they would deny you coverage for health insurance based on pre-existing conditions such as you being a survivor of breast cancer, asthma, diabetes.
Well, Vice President Harris will continue campaigning out west, discussing the stakes of the election. And the advice we normally get when it comes to those political or voting-related texts has been to ignore them and check an official source. But if you got one recently that started with, this is the Dane County Clerk's office, well, that one is legitimate. Arman Rahman shows us the county's newest way to reach voters with the right information.
We wanted a tool to be able to contact voters directly in case something comes up on Election Day.
Dane County's Election Awareness Text Message Campaign launched the Wednesday before November 5th.
So, for example, if we have to move a polling place, instead of just relying on a press conference, we can actually directly contact all the voters in that ward and say, it's been moved for whatever reason, or maybe the hours have been extended.
Clerk Scott McDonald says this initiative can also help clear up disinformation. Recently, thousands of voters got messages from All Vote that provided an incorrect link and also got texts many found intimidating.
We can immediately counter it in the same manner in which it went out.
McDonald doesn't expect widespread problems on Election Day, but is always ready for things to get a bit hectic.
I think it will be, and honestly, it has to do with social media and things like that. So you might have someone taking an image of somebody they think is doing something wrong, and it can just kind of spiral.
While the text message campaign has been done in other states, Dane County is the first municipality in Wisconsin to try it. It costs a flat $10,000 to operate. McDonald says they'll evaluate how it goes, but likely will use it for future presidential elections or big November ones.
If you put your cell phone number into WISC-Vote when you register to vote, then we can text you. And then if you want to undo that, it's pretty easy.
In Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
If you haven't received a message from Dane County yet, just text VOTE to the number 28948. Well, Madison continues to grapple with the housing crisis that comes with its rapidly growing population. Our Maddie Heim spoke with city officials about the behind-the-scenes efforts to combat that need. Maddie?
Yeah, Eric, this is a map of all the current development projects and proposals underway in Madison. One is for a 5-story apartment building. One is for more than 100 two-family homes. One is for a mixed-use development that merges commercial space and residential units. But most of these red dots have one thing in common. They target Madison's housing crisis.
The community is growing faster than our housing is growing.
It's no surprise that Madison's population grows by the second, and home construction takes a little bit longer.
And so that puts a lot of pressure on all of our existing housing and any of the new housing that's being built.
Currently, the city's vacancy rate is the third lowest in the country. Just 3% of apartments are available. The only places less accessible, Providence, Rhode Island, and New York City. In order for Madison to reach a healthy vacancy level by 2035, the city would have to average 2,300 new units every year.
We certainly are seeing challenges in Madison that are shared by other communities, like the impact of interest rates and other construction costs.
City Planning Director Megan Tuttle says a big component of new developments is density, which is why the city has made changes to encourage fitting more people into less space. But Tuttle says building as much as possible, wherever possible, isn't always best practice.
Some of this is about balancing different ideas about what our community can and should look like and how much we should grow and where.
Following community input, planners look towards zoning regulations, nearby transportation options, and the types of houses in highest demand.
We want to make sure that there are good linkages to things like access to transportation, specifically public transportation, bike paths, walkable areas, proximity to parks and schools, other things that you might need on a day-to-day basis.
Now, Madison's housing crisis doesn't seem to have a clear end in sight. The city's planning division projects will add another 100,000 people in the next 25 years.
Maddie, thank you. With today being Halloween, retailer Joybird took a look at the cities in the U.S. with the highest likeliness of turning into a ghost town, and no surprise, Madison is the least likely. The study looked at vacancy rates and population growth. Madison has one of the lowest homeowner vacancy rates in the country at just 0.03%. That's 91% below the national average. Augusta, Georgia, the most likely to turn into a ghost town with 9% of rental units sitting empty, nearly 30% of vacant homes sitting on the market for over 2 years. Police in Beloit are investigating after they say a bank was robbed in the city. Happened yesterday afternoon about 5 at the First Mid Bank and Trust on Cranston Road. Officers say a man used threats of force to take an undisclosed amount of cash before leaving the bank. No one was hurt, and no description was given of a suspect. If you have any information, you are asked to call the Greater Beloit Area Crime Stoppers at the number there right on your screen. Well, you're taking a live look now at Milwaukee on this Halloween evening, where some of the most haunted hotels in the country are. Milwaukee has the 12th most haunted hotels in the U.S., where 2 in every 1,000 people say they have experienced haunted activity, and 1 in every 1,000 has mentioned paranormal activity. About 7% of the hotels in the city are considered haunted or paranormal. Savannah, Georgia ranked #1 in that category. 13% of its hotels considered haunted. Well, just ahead at 5, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington's back. Complete forecast if you're heading out with your trick-or-treaters. And Attorney General Josh Kaul reaches a multi-million-dollar settlement as part of a lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies. The details coming up. And Thursday trading on Wall Street, a rough one. The Dow falls 378 points. The NASDAQ tumbles 513. The S&P 500 loses 108. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand healthcare access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
Todd Novak is a compassionate and independent voice for us in the Assembly, but Elizabeth Grobby will tell any lie she needs to get herself elected. Grobby's dishonesty about Todd Novak is shameful. The truth, Todd Novak passed legislation protecting exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother, and voted to expand access to birth control, not ban it. It's time to reject the desperate and ridiculous lies from Elizabeth Grobby and her radical allies. We deserve better. Todd Novak for Assembly.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. They raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul announcing 2 cooperation agreements with pharmaceutical manufacturers totaling $50 million for their efforts to inflate prices and limit competition. Those agreements are with Heritage Pharmaceuticals and Apotex to resolve allegations that both companies artificially inflated and manipulated prices, reduced competition, and unreasonably restrained trade relating to generic prescription drugs. Now, there are 30 corporate defendants and 25 individual executives included in this suit. Well, don't let the costumes blow away tonight, folks. So look at your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Yeah, a whole hold on. It's going to be windy through this evening. Temperatures on the chilly side, too. So you had the wind. Temperatures in the 40s. It feels more like the 30s. Remember, we were just near 80 degrees. We were in the 80s, for that matter. That's a big shift for your body to acclimate to. So trick-or-treaters, hold on to your hats, but have a good time this evening. At least the rain is done, so the overall forecast for the rest of this evening is looking dry. 46 right now in Madison. West wind sustained at 17, gusting much higher than that. If you were just watching earlier out in the patio, you can hear it. You can also see it in our Dodgeville sky cam. Look at these low cumulus clouds and stratus clouds quickly moving from west to east. It is a windy one out there for our Halloween evening. Now, what about Friday? Well, we'll be in the upper 40s to the lower 50s, so big swing in our temperatures back to where we should be for this time of year, with the average high right around 53 degrees. So a spell of fall-like weather for southern Wisconsin. The winds also, let's track the end of those, quickly calming as we go into Friday, if not calm for a good portion of the day. So with temperatures near 50, sun, calm winds, it will actually feel quite pleasant for this time of year. 57 on Saturday, seasonable temperatures. Then we start a wet weather pattern. That begins on Saturday night. Showers and isolated storms expected as early as Sunday. Temperatures going back up to near 60 degrees. And then we've got an extended period of rain Saturday night through Sunday. Monday going on into Election Day Tuesday. You want to tune in to our 6 o'clock newscast. We're going to track those showers and thunderstorms Sunday through Tuesday, and I'll let you know just which locations are going to see the heaviest amounts of water. You'd think we'd have some updates here with the drought monitor. That would be good, but we just got that rain last night, and we'll see the impacts from that rain last night and the upcoming rain very likely in next week's drought monitor update. But right now, still moderate to severe drought conditions across all of southern Wisconsin. But next week, guaranteed to be active. 1 to 3 inches of rain possible at 6. I'll show you who has the best chance of getting the 1 inch versus the 3 inch. The rain does end Election Day Tuesday. I'll let you know, too, at 6 what time we can expect that rain to end across southern Wisconsin. Then it's just fall-like after Election Day Tuesday, with temperatures in the 50s and perhaps another weather system the following weekend. Rainfall amounts plentiful. Belmont, thanks, Jane, near 5 inches of rain in Belmont. Rainfall amounts near 4 inches, thanks from DeForest Perry sending us this photo. And then this just came into the First Warn Weather Team. Thanks, Jim. Here, just looking here, it looks like you got at least a good, healthy couple inches of rain in Verona. Scan that QR code. I'd love to see these other photos here of the rain gauges showing how much rain that we saw over the course of the past couple of days, and we'll be adding to the rain across southern Wisconsin very soon. Looks like traffic is going just fine westbound and eastbound, speeds in the 50s to near 60 miles per hour. And let's take a look down towards Janesville, 70-mile-per-hour speed limit, and things are going pretty good up near the Dells as well. Remember, if you are driving a semi or a vehicle that's susceptible to the winds, just take it easy this evening with the gusty winds that we have across the area.
All right, Alex, thank you. With this, kind of spooky forecast, we're going to take a look at how trick-or-treaters are faring with their candy hauls after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stile is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stile is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stile, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is Home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business,
or standing up to utility rate hikes. I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabe, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
WISC Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
So many of you have told me about your plans for the future, but prices are too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. You may not always agree with me, but I promise I will do everything I can to lift up the middle class and be a president for all Americans. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, tonight is the night thousands of kids will be putting on those Halloween costumes on the hunt for candy. Our Armand Rahman is out in the Madison community to see how trick-or-treating is going. Armand, got to ask, are we seeing any full-size candy bars tonight?
Ooh, you know, Eric, I'm not sure because it's actually scarier here, I think, more than the Halloween or than the costumes is the weather. It is another blustery one out here. It seems like trick-or-treaters here in Verona, where we are right now, can't really catch a break. But still, check out this yard right now on Enterprise Drive in Verona. I have this guy over here. Hi, how's it going? Are you cold tonight? Nope. No comment? That's okay. Anyways, but take a look at this yard that this guy has put out here. The cold does not stop him from putting all these decorations up. I'm surprised the really high wind gusts haven't knocked as much of them down as I would have thought. But, you know, people are still coming out here as soon as trick-or-treating got started. Right around 5 o'clock here in Verona, we just saw they came out in droves. Even the superheroes, the Paw Patrols, everyone's all bundled up and ready to get their candy. I'm going to check in with them and have more on that later on tonight at 6. For now, reporting in Verona, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Looks like Armand's got the Clark Kent thing going on underneath there with the Superman. Very well done. Armand, thank you. We'll have a final check of our first warn forecast when we come back.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries. My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut. And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
And the punishment is real. Women denied care, unable to get pregnant again, traumatized, scarred for life. Young women who didn't need to die. Now 1 in 3 women live under a Trump abortion ban. And if he's elected, everyone will.
There has to be some form of punishment.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
Wisconsin families still suffer from sky-high prices. Gas, groceries, housing. We pay more than ever, but that's not enough for radical Sarah Kieski. Kieski opposes putting a cap on property taxes, meaning higher taxes for us. The sky's the limit. We've hit our limit. We are getting crushed. Kieski's policies will hurt us even more. That's just wrong. Tell Sarah Kieski, Wisconsin can't afford higher taxes. We already pay enough.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, the final stretch of the presidential campaign. Vice President Kamala Harris fighting to win the West, courting Latino voters on the trail with pop star Jennifer Lopez. Plus, Donald Trump's new message to women that may have backfired as he faces a wide gender gap. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
All right, Alex, a lot of trick-or-treaters going out there. They got to bundle up and be ready for the wind.
And hold on. Yeah. Hold on to your costume. Let's take a look at what we expect the rest of the night tonight. Temperatures falling through the 40s. We'll have clouds out there. Eventually, we'll clear out later tonight. But the wind is going to be the big contender for this evening. So as I mentioned, just hang on, but enjoy the trick-or-treating evening. This is what it should be like for this time of year. Well, how about a little bit of history? Hottest Halloween, 77 back in 1933. One of the coldest, 30 at 1917. And how about this one, the snowiest? I remember this one. Do you remember this one, Eric?
Well, just a couple years ago, yeah, not too long ago.
Just a few years ago. We had snow on Halloween. No snow in Halloween tonight. No snow in our future, but a lot of rain is in our future coming up here Saturday night, going clear through Election Day Tuesday. A lot of rain that could amount to 1 to 3 inches. At 6 o'clock, we'll track that rain together.
All right, Alex, thank you. We'll be back in 30 minutes with more updates on News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.